with that, we'll jump straight into game one. It is the Broncos versus the Rabbitohs. So the Broncos gone through a little bit of a backline change. Tessie New is going to be your fullback this week, with Herbie Farnworth going to the centres. No return for Isako on the cards. And good to see Tyson Gamble back in the 7 shirt as well. So those are the big changes out of the Broncos this week. As for the Rabbitohs, pretty much unchanged. Burns comes out of the centres, with Gagai going into the 3 shirt, obviously back from Origin duty. And then their bench is Burns, Selle, Burgess and Host. The rest of the side unchanged, with the exception of Arrow back in the 12 shirt for the Rabbitohs. I mean, I think that we're probably both going to go Rabbitohs on this one for obvious reasons. I mean, the Rabbitohs are sensational this season. The Broncos are hot and cold wherever they are, and it's just, I mean, especially with the Broncos changing up their backline again, you know, you've still got Hunt in the 6 shirt. Kelly loses out with Tyson Gamble coming back in. There's just a lot of chopping and changing, and there's a lot of Broncos fans that are calling for Xavier Coates out of the squad, obviously questioning his commitment to the Broncos with his contract up and the rumblings that he'll be with the Storm next season. So a little bit of a few disgruntled fans, and obviously you've got Corey Oates as well on the outer.
Yeah, Corey Oates went to the Broncos staff and basically asked for an explanation as to why they're playing the likes of Cobbo and an out-of-form, out-of-contract Coates over the likes of himself and Dale Copley. I mean, read into that what you will. In his contract, it does state that he can indeed, and probably will, move at the end of this season if he's not getting the right opportunity. So they're in disarray, the Broncos. There's no easy way to say it. I thought they would bounce back in Carmichael Hunt's first game back last week, and quite frankly, I don't know how he's kept his spot looking at how he played. But it looks like Albert Kelly's still out with his injury. Maybe they regret releasing Tom Dearden. Who knows? You're completely right, though. Rabbitohs 13 plus, 18 plus, 24 plus, take your pick. You can go one of many different ways there. They should be too good. It's a full-strength side. You've got, the Source and Jaden Sewer both riding the reserves at the moment. A full-strength squad. Cam Murray's back in a Rabbitohs jersey. Latrell Mitchell was very quiet last week, and they still got a very comfortable win in the end. Gagai back in the centres. He comes up against Jesse Arthurs. Again, not a great defensive centre. Jesse does his job, but it's Gagai who's looking to get some form going into Origin 2. Anytime try scorers, I mean, the Rabbitohs 1-7 are all a big shout. Tane Milne is holding his spot, whether he swaps out for the Source to be determined. You can go one of many ways. Alex Johnson for a double, again, is a pretty good bet. If anyone's going to throw any money on anything there. Could absolutely make an argument for Damien Cook scooting out a dummy half and getting a try there. You could also make another argument potentially with Jai Arrow playing on the edge. He'll line up against Alex Glenn, I believe. Glenn's still trying to get some match fitness into him. They do have Hetherington, and we're not going to start about Kobe Hetherington this week, Matthew. We're not going to start about that. But they've also got Palacio and Rabadi on the bench who can all play edge. But I think Jaira goes on and goes over very early, potentially a smoky for a first try scorer. Bunny's 13 plus, AJ double, Jairo. It's worth the spec, I reckon, for any time, and a first time try scorer. Would imagine he's paying about $31.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the changing things up. I'm going to give I'm going to go with a tip that I've never actually gone with before. I'm going to say Broncos under 10 points. I think that they struggled last week against a very poor Raiders side who were absolutely in disarray between injuries and staff fallouts and locker room revolution. And the Broncos only managed 18 points against them. Against a Rabbitohs side who are pretty watertight on the edges, very strong up the middle as well. And then they've got the likes of Cook, who's just a tackle machine, just coming in, darting around, causing havoc up the middle and making sure that those big bodies are not getting overworked. I can't see the Broncos getting up over more than 10 points here. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to join you on Rabbitohs 13+. And if I'm going to go anytime try scorer, I just think Cody Walker coming up through the middle as he starts to work those edges both sides. People are always very aware of Johnston, Gagai, Graham, Milne, and the try-scoring prowess that they have. I just see that the Broncos probably stretch themselves a little too far. Walker sells a dummy, goes through the gap and scores. That's how I envision that one going, working either side of those edges towards those 20 players. And yeah, I'm going to go with that one. So Broncos, no more than 10 points. Rabbitohs 13+. Walker anytime for me.
Walker anytime, $2. Jai Arrow, $23. First try scorer. I reckon it's worth a $5.
Definitely.